So this is the London Central Travelodge in Southwark. It's one of the budget hotels and it's pretty central, especially if you're going to come and see a play. So I thought I'd give you a tour of the room. I'll show you the outside just now, but I will try and get in some footage at the end of the little bar area as well where you can have your breakfast. But when you come in, first of all, you do have a hairdryer next to a big mirror to get your hair nice and fancy, ready to go to the shows or whatever you're going to do in London. We've obviously got a setup for a small family, so this will sleep 4 of us. So we do have a small bed. My only criticism, it's weirdly under the TV. I thought they could have perhaps put it somewhere else, but possibly not given the space. Bit of a weird placement. So when you come in, there's a nice flat screen TV. We haven't had a look what channels you get yet, but I'm assuming being central London, you're not really going to have an issue. You've got a little lamp. Let's see if we can switch that on, which is nice. So if you come in here to do work, that again is really helpful. And what's really handy, in a lot of travel lodges they do this now, where they've got the plug sockets with USBs in them, which is really good if you forget to bring your charger or forget to bring an adapter plug. So there is, let me see if I can get the light over here, there is a classic tea and coffee making facilities. They do have some coffee pods and a Lavazza coffee machine, which is nice because it's always a bit dodgy using the hotel kettles. You don't know what's been happening to those, but it's nice to have one of these coffee machines, which is really handy, and we're definitely going to make the most of that in a second to make a cup of coffee. And then you've got obviously your tea. What's nice, they even give you some Kit Kats for a little bit of extra luxury, which is very, very handy. Then you've got a tiny little ironing board. So if you're the kind of person who comes away and needs to iron your clothes, I'm not. I generally don't care if I'm creased. I'm just happy. And you've got a little travel iron, which is lovely. And then you've got a few hangers and some towels. Let's see how fluffy they are. Relatively good towels they are. No, they're not bad. They're not too coarse and they're not too soft. I'd say fair to middling on those. So out of the window, you do have a view of some offices, which is quite nice. We had somebody up there just now having their lunch. Someone's obviously working late and burning the midnight oil, but we do have an office there. I think that's Transport for London offices. So this is one of the other beds. So like I said, we've got the other bed under the TV, and we've got another little bed here, and then you've got a chair. And again, next to the bed, you do have some handy USB plug sockets as well. You can adjust the lights in the room to be brighter or dimmer, which is quite handy. The switch is a little bit broken, but it still works. So that's good. So if you want to dim the lights, but still have lights all around the room, if you've got kids or something like that, that's really handy. You can keep an eye on them. Some random art on the wall, which looks like some litmus paper or something to me. I really don't know, but there you go. I don't get modern art sometimes. And a air conditioner which is pumping out lovely cool air, which is very, very nice. So again, on the other side of the bed you do have another USB plug socket, which is great. And what's good, you do have the air conditioning unit right next to the bed, which is really handy because there's nothing worse than waking up in the middle of the night when it's too hot, too cold, and you've got to walk halfway across the room to go and find the air conditioning switch. So first impressions, it's all very, very clean. We did hear some bad reviews online saying that there was a bit of dirt around the place, but we certainly didn't see it, or we haven't seen any. And on this wall, there's a map of London, which is nice. And then by here, we do have a menu if you want to order room service or if you're staying for breakfast. We've opted not to stay for breakfast, quite simply because down the road, there's a Pret, there's a Costa, there's loads of restaurants, so we're not going to have an issue. And we'd rather go out and get some choice rather than have some tepid sausages and some rubbery bacon. So in the bathroom, because I know everybody likes to look in the bathroom, we do have a nice and clean bath, it's got to be said, with the towels. And a nice big shower head, which is handy. This is not one of those tiny little things which squirts water out at you. And we do have some foam hand wash, but I'm assuming that's the shower gel. You do have a small basin. I won't show you the toilet because everyone sees the toilet and toilets are gross sometimes, but this one's nice and clean. You do have a shaving adapter and a lovely big mirror, which is very, very nice. So you can do your hair and put your makeup on and do what you need to do. And then on the floor is one of those waterproof floors, which can be, you know, they're nice and grippy, so they shouldn't have an issue in terms of access or anything like that. And then we do have the door. There is unfortunately no block on the peephole, so we do the classic, get some tissue or some toilet paper and just stuff that in there so people can't reverse look through into it. I do have some hooks on the back of the door, but that is it for this hotel room. Like I said, I'll get some footage in the little bar area, just some very basic footage because we're not going to use it. But if you are going to use it, it looked like there was a little bar in there, and that's where you have your breakfast as well. TV remote, which is great. But yeah, very clean room. Really happy with it, especially because it's, you know, one of the budget hotels and it's in a really good place. So we would actually recommend this hotel. So for our next adventure, well, you'll have to subscribe to find out. Speak to you next time. Bye.